Welcome to Atomicdieee's audiobook. Sit back and relax as you listen to the book A Weakness Called Love, The Memoirs of an African Housemaid, written by Glamti and narrated by Atomicdieee. Chapter 4. Pain Becomes Me. I sauntered over to Amina. Without a word, I bent down and picked up 3 packs of peanut from the tray she was displaying her merchandise. She quickly got up, looking at me. I tucked 2 packs in my wrapper and with slow calculating movements began unwrapping the nylon that was holding the peanut. She was red with fury on her face. And then I took a couple of peanut and threw them inside my mouth. I casted her a very nasty look. I looked right in her eyes, daring her to stop me. She said nothing, but I can see the rage and fury in her eyes. She was known for her temper. Still she kept quiet. I moved closer, still chewing. Then she had had enough. She could not take it anymore. She busted, almost shouting. "You know you have to pay for that, right? I'm not a weakling that you can walk on and get away with it. Pay me, laddie. Pay me now." Shetu was astonished at her boldness, and so was I. "Make me," I said calmly, still looking at her. "You cannot steal from me and get away with it. Pay me, I say. Do not let me repeat myself." For some reason, the word still offended me. I removed the other 2 peanuts that I tucked in my wrapper and handed them to Shetu. By this time, all attention was on us. The girls moved closer and watched curiously. Amina seemed pleased with herself, thinking she had impressed the girls. She turned around, about to leave. I removed my veil and wrapped it around my waist, leaving my head with only a scarf. She wanted a show. I'll give her a theatrics. I then followed her. I yanked her hand furiously, turning her to face me. Then I said, "Call me a thief one more time." She turned around, ignored me, and started walking. Now she had earned my fury. Her submission was not all I seek. I wanted to shame her, to humiliate her. She had called me a thief, while in reality she was the thief. The reason why she was sent back from the house she was working for in the city was because she stole. The same goes for all the other houses she had worked in. Halimatu had refused to take her to other houses because she was an unrepentant thief. She will steal all she can and run back home. She did not only steal money, she stole all she can carry. Her mother always welcomed her. They share their loot, and they are contented with that way of life. Now she stays in the village hawking. Her calling me a thief was derogatory. Coming from someone I might be able to contain myself, but from the Queen of Thieves, it was unforgivable. "Repeat what you just said. I dare you. If you're born a child, not a bastard, say it or your mother be shamed. Repeat it, you ugly scum," I challenged her, finally catching my breath. She looked at me, fear seeping through her eyes. She then looked around. She looked at all the people who were anxiously looking at us. The village square fell dead silent, more silent than a graveyard. So silent that should anyone drop as much as a pebble, its sound will be heard. She looked back at me, swallowed slowly with difficulty. Then with an almost incoherent, timidly low voice, she said, "Thief." In a flare of fury, I slapped her face. I started hitting her. She was trying to fight back, but her blows were weak. Her movements slow. I heard a girl say, "Maybe we should stop them." "Not now. Nobody should touch them," Shetu said flatly. I finally held her hands and tackled her to the ground. Before I knew it, I was sitting on her, beating the crap out of her. She was feebly trying to fight back. Her eyes were closed and was flapping her hands like a drowning cat. I felt a hand on my waist pulling me, trying to get me off of her. I tried to resist at first, but when I saw Amina crying, I felt contented and let go, finally letting Shetu get me off of her. By then, the attention of all people on the village square was on us. Amina quickly took her tray and ran away crying. Then I saw him, my Moody, watching. His lips twitched, his eyes squinted as if in disgust. I can see Modibo, the handsome Fulani guy who sells fried chicken dipped in eggs, with a dash of red chili pepper, explaining something to him, pointing towards us occasionally. The irritated look Moody was casting me was something I had not anticipated. He had never noticed me. The first time he ever looks at me, he was disgusted by me. I could not take it anymore. My victory was crushed. I can't have him thinking about me in a negative way. I want him to love me, not to think lowly of me. I could not watch him anymore. Before I embarrassed myself, I started walking away in very quick strides. As soon as I was off the village square, I started running. The excruciating pain I felt in my chest was suffocating me. I needed to breathe, but it was like I do not know how. Shetu was running after me. When she caught up with me, She casts me a look full of concern. She held my hand and pulled me all the way to her house. I could not speak. I just wanted to breathe, to let the pain go or at least subside. All I could do was sob. We were inside her compound, but she did not take me into her room. She pulled me to a corner. Nobody was there. Then she let go of my hands and said, "Are you okay? What is wrong? You had your victory." Amina had learned her lesson. "But what is the matter? Talk to me." "Something is definitely wrong. Please talk to me." The ground beneath me seemed to sway. My chest was constricted, my knees heavy. My knees could not hold my weight anymore. I fell to my knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Hot tears of anguish rolled down my cheeks. I have seen pain. I have known pain. I had resisted pain. I had lived in pain. I have defied pain. Pain becomes me. It took so much pain to muster the courage I have today, to be the person I have become. It has been almost 3 years since I last cried. I could not understand why I was crying. When I ran away from Hajia Hannatu's residence, I did not know where I was going, but I would rather die on the streets than die in her house, because I knew eventually it will come to that. The hunger I had to endure, the work I did, or rather the slavery I endured. She was a huge woman, a woman who inspires fear. I cleaned, washed, babysit, but the only food I got was the one that had started to go bad, the leftovers. I kept walking. I walked for 5 miles on foot. When I reached the school, I walked tiredly inside the school. I put my clothes down carefully wrapped in a head tie. I lay down. I had gone a day and a half without eating. My energy was drained. I lay down waiting for the worst to happen. Death, perhaps, but maybe it will end the pain. It was the last time I cried. A man had noticed me, God bless him. He asked me where I was from and what brought me here. He was a Hausa-man. He bought food for me and took it upon himself to take me back home. Since then, I had taken it upon myself to master the roadmap of wherever I was going. At least I know I'll be able to go back home. Shatu stood there looking at me. She was confused and did not know what to do. My love for Moody was consuming me. I had to tell someone. Who better to tell than Shatu? Shatu was patient with me. She just stood there, waiting for me to calm down. She did not ask again. She just stood there, looking at me compassionately, sympathy oozing through her brown eyes. I had finally calmed down. I then said to Shatu, "I have to tell you something. Please, try to understand me." She only nodded and continued, "I'm in love with Moody." And before I could continue, she started laughing and then she said, "Sorry, I thought you said Moody." Puzzled, I looked at her. Dead serious. Loving Moody was not a joke. It is a serious matter, a matter of utmost urgency. She realized I am being serious. She gasped and was surprised. Then she said in amazement, "Oh my God, you are serious? You love Moody? The Moody I know. Husband to my sister, your cousin. Of all the eligible men in this village, why does it have to be your cousin's husband?" She said, more astonished than angry. No one can do it like you. We have come to the end of today's chapter. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Khadija Nasser and at Atomicdieee on Twitter, and subscribe to my podcast and YouTube channels at Atomicdieee. And also don't forget to hit the notification button so that you will be informed whenever I post a new chapter. Thank you for listening and bye ta. Love ya. Now you're so hot like summer.